Hey guys, welcome back. Now there are two things that I love at tea time. It is chai and a cheesecake. So why not combine them? Let me show you how. Now talking of cheesecakes, there are two types of cheesecake. There is the baked cheesecake and there is the unbaked cheesecake. Now for the baked cheesecake, there is going to be egg in that and all the ingredients are folded together and baked in the oven. Now I am not a big fan of baked cheesecake because I find it very heavy. I like the unbaked kind. So I use natural products. Now again, with a cold cheesecake, there is the one which is set with gelatin and agar and one with natural products. I like the one with the natural products because you use the natural fats from the ingredients, and in this case it's going to be your cream cheese, your mascarpone and chocolate to hold it together. The first thing what we're going to do is make the base for the cheesecake, which is made out of biscuit crumbs. I'm going to use a food processor to basically blitz together my biscuits. Now you can use digestive biscuits, you can use malt biscuits, you can use any biscuits, but use a dry one. Don't use a one which has got a cream filling in them. Crush it lightly into the food processor. The biscuits have formed into a crumble. Now add the melted butter. Blitz it again till the crumble becomes nice and moist. Now the next stage is actually to line my cake tin with greaseproof paper. Now try and get a cake tin which has a loose bottom. On this I am going to put a greaseproof paper, and then with the leftover butter I will lightly grease the sides. Now you're probably wondering why am I greasing the sides, because I'm not going to really bake this cheesecake. It's because I'm going to put greaseproof paper and I want it to stick before I put my other ingredients. So there we are. So when you put your little butter or a little oil, the paper just sticks to the sides, and you do that with the rest. The reason for lining the sides is because once the cheesecake is ready, it is very easy to demold it. Otherwise the cheesecake will tend to stick on the sides and it will not remove easily from the tin. Once that is done, all I do is I put this butter and the biscuit base or the biscuit crust base onto my cake tin. And just spread the cake crumb mixture on the bottom. Press it with the spatula so it spreads evenly. What you can also do is a small little hack and a trick is to use a little ramekin bowl with the straight sides and a flat bottom to just press this down so that it spreads across evenly. because there is butter, it is still quite soft. Now this is going to go into the fridge for approximately 10 minutes for the butter to become firm and hard. Now once the butter becomes firm and hard, it will hold the shape quite well and it will not break. So when you cut your cheesecake, you won't get a crumble effect at the bottom, or it won't be falling apart. It will still hold shape quite well. Next part is to then start making the flavorings. Now I'm going to do a double layer cheesecake. Now the cheesecake is flavored with chai, which is the Indian tea. So I'm going to have one layer which is going to have the color of the Indian tea, and the second layer is going to be dark chocolate. But the base is going to be the same. I'm going to have the same tea flavored base for both of them. So heavy cream. This I will add a spoon or maybe 2 of condensed milk. We'll add one more. Then I'm going to add my instant tea mix. Now I have got this instant tea mix, which is the chai mix. Of those. Now if you are using your regular masala chai or the homemade tea, which you can, just make sure that you make it very strong and you reduce it down to quite like a thickish consistency. And if you're also using your fresh tea at home, then you might need to add some kind of an gelling agent like an agar or gelatin. Now whisk this together. Now the good thing with the pre-mix of tea is that all the flavors of the chai or the Indian masala chai tea is basically all in the powder. It also has a hint of sweetness in it. That's why I didn't want to put too much of condensed milk into my cream. And just whisk that together so the flavors literally mix up with the cream. As you can see, the tea color is now oozing out into the cream. I'm going to check the sweetness. Oh, nice. We got a very nice kind of tea flavor. Then goes in the soft cheese. So always using soft cheese and mascarpone, just leave it at room temperature for a good half an hour. So a generous dollop of cream cheese. Again, I like to use the light version of a cream cheese, so you still get to indulge and enjoy and not really worry as much about the calories. I mean, there are calories, but still a bit less. And then goes in the mascarpone. So remove any extra moisture if there is in the mascarpone. There it is. And all you do now is just whisk it together till it is nice and smooth. The mixture is now ready, and on the side I've got some dark chocolate. Now that is dark chocolate. I'm keeping it very plain here. Now if you don't want to have the tea flavor in this dark chocolate, you can just add the whipped cheese, the condensed milk, and the mascarpone inside and have that. But personally for me, I like to have the flavors to come through and through with the dish and not just on one side. So the whole tea flavor, because you can't really see the tea but you can taste the tea. Hence I mix all my tea into the cream cheese base. Now into this I'm going to add some of my cream cheese mixture. There we have, not too much. And I'm going to gently spoon that together. So all the flavor of the tea is now going to be also incorporated into the melting chocolate. This is done. So I've got my dark chocolate base, I've got my tea cheesecake mixture base, and I've got my biscuit base in the fridge being set. So it's now time to layer the cheesecake. So as you can see here, the biscuit base with the butter has really firmed up, so it's quite hard. That tells you that the butter is solidified, so it holds the base quite well. It's not going to crumble or break. On top of that, I am going to add my dark chocolate mixture. Just spread that chocolate onto the base and look at the rich kind of a shine to this. It's like such a lovely gloss it's got. That's because of the fat from the chocolate and also from the cheesecake. Gives it a wonderful gloss. And again, the chocolate is just melted chocolate. You can melt the chocolate into a double boiler, or you can just put it into the microwave for literally on a burst for 20 or 30 seconds twice, and you get the chocolate melted. Lastly, just tap your cake tin onto the chopping board or a workstation, just so that there is no air bubbles in it and the chocolate begins to spread a bit evenly. Then goes in our chai mixture. All you do is just spread that across on top of the dark chocolate mix. Just evenly spread. And lastly, give it a tap again, just to make sure that no air bubbles trapped in the mixture and it spreads evenly. Now this is going to go into your fridge for approximately 45 minutes for it to set and to solidify. The cheesecake, I left it literally for 3 hours. Like I said 45 minutes, but actually 3 hours. And then I put them into the freezer for a good half an hour just to make sure it is a little firm, otherwise it will fall apart. Don't forget, there is no gelling agent at all. Hence they put in the freezer and into the fridge. So here we are. Now you can see it is, when you touch it, it is just about firm. Now from the bottom of the tray, you go to push it with your fingers and you can see that the cheesecake just comes up. It's because the butter paper doesn't stick to the ring. There we are. The ring is gone, and all you do now is basically remove the butter paper or the greaseproof paper from the ring. And you can see the layers. You have the biscuit base, you have the chocolate, and you have the chai cheesecake. Now what I'll do is I'm going to try and take out the bottom layer and loosen that from the butter paper. here we are. Can you see that? That is all out. So cheesecake is done. It's now going to be time to cut the cheesecake and enjoy a slice. Before I'm going to cut the cake, I'm going to add a little garnish. I've got these caramel balls of chocolate. Just going to generously sprinkle those on top. And a little more. Now time to cut the cake. Now again, before you cut the cake, just make sure you have a very sharp knife and try and slightly warm up the knife and wipe it clean. You don't want any things stuck onto the knife, otherwise it spoils the shape. Also with a warm knife, it cuts the cake quite well. So just put it into hot water, wipe it off, and then here we go. Gently push it down, and you can see it separates. Wipe up your knife, keep it nice and clean, and then another wedge. Let's have a look. Do we get the layers? There you are. You can see that it's got the biscuit base at the bottom, it's got the chocolate with the chai cheese cake, and on top of that is the plain cheesecake. So this is a very simple recipe. You can do it with coffee, you can do it with any kind of a fruit flavoring you like, whatever you like, but a very simple recipe, very easy to make. Things we probably have in your house, utilize those to make a cake. So make sure you enjoy this, make it for your friends and family, and do not forget to like, subscribe and comment on my page. So until next time, happy cooking.